Here at the beginning of December, the U.S. economy is holding steady at a low level of expansion. Leading indicators have been moving up slowly over the past 4 months, but at levels well below 2019's pre-COVID activity. After the GDP crash in the first and second quarters, Recession 2020 has technically ended during the late third quarter. During that time period, stocks in the S&P 500 experienced an earnings pullback of less than 7% when expectations were for a level of 2 or 3 times that size. Now expectations are for additional recovery during the fourth quarter. However, we are still facing these serious issues, with a winter stall in the recovery being very probable for the following reasons. New federal direct payment stimulus is still only a topic of discussion in Washington. Against the advice of the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Treasury Secretary has stated that its COVID-related small business assistance loan programs will be terminated at the end of 2020. Several major jobs protection programs ended on September 30th, as did the largest supplemental unemployment payments. Many states have replaced those with smaller sums payable through to the end of the year. People will begin to act on the expectation that their benefits will be gone by January. Hopes for additional benefits into 2021 may not materialize until the new administration and the new Congress are seated. Returns to jobs temporarily lost during the pandemic shutdowns have slowed monthly, while new jobless claims persist in the range of 700 to 800K per month. Tens of thousands of temporary COVID-related furloughs have now become permanent terminations. The last count of those who were in formal jobless benefit programs exceeded 20.3 million, compared to 1.48 million a year ago. Total U.S. new car sales have been down significantly for 3 straight quarters, but are holding steady over the past 3 months, based upon information from offshore companies who still report on a monthly basis. There is the looming possibility of further squelching of economic activity during November, December, and beyond, due to the onset of a large third wave of COVID infections. These now stand at nearly 180,000 per day, triple the 60,000 per day we had in the final week of October, and the outlook is for higher numbers in the days and weeks to come. 4 weeks ago, we projected about 1,000 fatalities per day by the end of November, and we have already reached double that number. The U.S. reached over 250,000 fatalities 6 weeks earlier than we projected just 60 days ago. These numbers are already dwarfing what was seen in the first and second waves earlier this year, and are causing additional local and regional demands for stay-at-home orders, as well as the expected pushback by COVID denialists. At the moment, the U.S. still leads the world in grim statistics for cases of COVID, 13.7 million, up 5 million in 5 weeks, and associated fatalities of 270,000, up 40,000 in 5 weeks. If you look at the equities markets, they do not reflect any concern or anticipation of further economic damages. New index records have just been set as investors try to anticipate the eventual end of the pandemic, based upon hopes for widespread vaccine programs beginning in small scales later on in December. We have seen projections from other statisticians looking towards late 2022 that reach well past 2.7 million fatalities, over 10 times where we are at now. Our own projections put fatalities at around 500,000 by Inauguration Day, and at 700,000 a mere 40 days later, at the first anniversary of the recognized appearance of COVID fatalities in the USA. When the post-World War I and Spanish flu recession of 1919 was over, another one followed a mere 9 months later, largely as a result of the damages done by the Spanish flu virus, an ancestor of today's H1N1 influenza. In spite of the common reputation of the Roaring '20s, there were 3 recessions before the big one. the Great Depression of 1929-1933. Fortunately, this time around, we have a much more enlightened and proactive Federal Reserve to deal with any economic crisis that may form. Even though we have declared an end to Recession 2020, it is prudent to wait for the current scenarios to play out and see how the tug of war within economic forces evolves as the pandemic works its way through much more of the U.S. population. Our 6 AP recession indicators have not changed significantly throughout 2020, so the background economic conditions are still not encouraging. The stage is certainly being set for enough economic damage to reignite a contraction in the coming months, and a recession 2021 is a distinct possibility. That must be weighed against the continuation of the exuberances in the equities markets here at the beginning of December 2020.